What does a farm have to do with its nearby river or bay? Maryland is known for its horse farms and many waterways. For a small state, Maryland has a lot of agriculture, large operations, and small family farms. Most have a network of little streams and drainage ditches that connect them to each other and the waterways they drain into.
Tagalong Farm is a boarding stable, and we teach riders, and we go to horse shows and compete.
As storms get more intense, flooding threatens property and cropland.
The barn was getting flooded. The indoor arena was getting flooded because there's a pond on the property that is fed by 7 other ponds and also runoff from Route 50.
It had to be a pretty good rain in order for it to overflow. The problem was you had all them ponds and everything feeding it, but they only had 18-inch pipe draining it. That don't work.
Traditional practices were to create ponds and hold runoff, but ultimately the overflow would flood into the next downstream property.
Kind of sit in the bottom of a bowl, so as we get strong weather episodes, the water all kind of runs downhill like nature made it do. Several flooding episodes in our riding arena, which result in washing away very expensive footing that cushions the horse's steps.
It was a constant worry. Yeah. If it rained hard, we worried.
Oftentimes, neighbors can also be affected.
This stream area was eroding into the churchyard, into the cemetery, and starting to get close to some grave sites. And a lot of the water comes from Chesapeake Farms property.
The gush of water here was steadily eroding our cemetery. And Tallulah Bankhead, by the way, is buried right there. And so the last thing we wanted to do was have the congregation arrive on a rainy Sunday and look out the window and see Tallulah floating out to sea.
Controlling stormwater runoff is essential to restoring our waterways and wildlife habitat. Farmers are important partners in a state's long-term plan for success.
The Eastern Shore in particular had thousands and thousands of wetlands that were once on the landscape that have been destroyed.
So what can be done with all that extra water?
Over the last 20 years, best management practices have improved greatly because we've been able to have better measurements of what kind of nutrients are being lost and what kind of nutrients can be reduced by using those best management practices.
Using new innovative restoration techniques that model historical natural systems.
Came up with a regenerative stormwater conveyance project on this piece of agricultural ground to capture the water and redirect it and allow it to permeate the surface, get down into the aquifer.
It's common to have ditches on Eastern Shore farm fields to help drain, keep the fields a little bit drier, make them more productive for farming. And this is an alternative.
We call this approach regenerative design.
What we did was create a stream wetland complex, which is changing the system from a very small single thread stream to a much larger, more floodplain wet environment.
The trick is to spread it out so you can slow it down and soak it in.
It actually creates more than just the reduction of nutrients. It'll create wetlands, upland wildlife habitat, scenic views for those that own the property and neighboring properties. It captures it there rather than having it go somewhere else.
The science and the engineering and the construction, all that stuff is proven. The materials we use are all native materials. We use mixed aggregate from sand through all the gravels and cobbles, all the way up to sandstone boulders. And the reasoning is because we want the water moving through the landscape is just as important as the water moving over top of the landscape. Allows for that infiltration.
As water moves through the system, it filters out harmful pollutants that would otherwise enter the waterway and then the bay.
You can see where the ecosystem is capturing all the oil slicks from Route 50, and it filters them out before it ever gets to the streams.
Along with restoring groundwater aquifers, there's an added benefit of creating new wildlife habitat.
Create this wonderful diverse habitat that can be used by way more creatures.
I've already seen raccoons, great blue herons, wood ducks, mallards, frogs.
We've had all kind of wildlife, whatever you want to call it. And I went back there one day and here's a little green heron back there.
I was worried about the deer that come across through there, but they're back.
And as soon as the project was finished, we've been seeing all kinds of migratory type birds come in.
In the winter, St. Paul's Mill Pond is a major rest area for Canada geese and a variety of ducks, including mallards, black ducks, pintails.
Our practice, our techniques, we address that erosion. We also provide nutrient processing and habitat for wildlife, but in the same vein, we're providing an access for either private property owners or community open space.
We also have a quail habitat restoration project that we're doing in conjunction with Washington College and the Department of Natural Resources.
The last stage in a project like this is to plant it with natural vegetation.
There was even an opportunity to reuse a Big Bay pollutant to help plants grow in the Eastern Shore's sandy soils.
Come out with a product that starts with a composted chicken manure mixed with other elements and a heavy dose of microbial life, and sustains it without coming back and having to refertilize and do anything like that.
There are so many benefits from these type of projects.
It's a win-win for us. We no longer have the flooding in our arena. We have a beautiful stormwater conveyance project, and then we have the downstream benefits of recharging the environment.
State and local government agencies are eager to help with projects like these.
These stream wetland complexes are being done to put back on the landscape what used to be here a long, long time ago.
These types of projects aren't one size fits all, but they're able to be molded to fit each project to reduce those nutrients.
It is a marvelous feat of civil engineering, and it is working absolutely beyond expectations.
It's really nice. It's an addition to the property.
And it's a big relief.
Big relief.
I'll get up in the middle of the night and come down and make sure we're not flooded out.
Underwood&Associates can custom design a project for your farm.
We were privileged to work with Underwood&Associates in this project. They had a vision of how this would all come together.
We were very pleased that they were able to do all this construction without it bothering our clients, bothering our horses. They were very courteous and they looked out for our riders.
There's a little challenge because you lose a little bit of paddock space, but a lot of that's underwater when it rains hard anyway, and it's not productive.
It worked out really well. I was surprised. I thought we were really going to have a mess on our hands, but it wasn't at all.
Tagalong Farm far exceeded soil conservation's expectations. There's always a little bit of adaptive management, but we were able to make it work in the end, and it came out as an excellent regenerative system.
This is going to be a stunning physical beauty and really add to the harmony of our environment.
Chesapeake Farms is devoted to demonstrating productive agriculture in harmony with environmental stewardship. And this project just is absolutely perfect for doing that.
It's very clear to soil conservation that these are going to be excellent best management practices to be able to reduce nutrients into the Chesapeake Bay watersheds.
Contact us today and let us help you make it happen.
When people come together with heart, with great ideas, and people who care, there's really no limit to what we can achieve.